So what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today's a special Storytime Saturday because it's my favorite trip that I went on. It's a birthday trip that I went to Egypt a couple of years back. And I'm going to be talking about how I met some locals who was riding through the city and they showed me their unique perspective. So stay tuned and check it out. Y'all not going to want to miss this. So my day started in Luxor, Egypt, where I heard some noises on loudspeakers. It sounded like a surround sound. So I ran up on my roof deck of my hostel, which was $5 for the day. So if you've ever been to any Arabic countries, you know about the call to worship, or I think it's called the adhan. Pardon me if I'm saying that wrong. So you know multiple times out of the day, there's gonna be a broadcast of this call to worship. Up at this roof deck, as you hear, it's a big Muslim population. Every couple of hours, they play this. So I went to Egypt by myself, but when I went to the roof deck, I realized that there were two other people who I met earlier who were also at the same hostel. So I started talking to them and I told them that it was my birthday. So what ends up happening is we decide to walk to town and just venture out, no real plans. While we're walking, we hear two people calling us. So when these people started calling us, I was originally reluctant because I'm from New York and I don't really trust too much. But these two people who I was traveling with started entertaining their conversation. After about 5-10 minutes of talking, they seemed like generally cool people. They were young and they were just talking to us about Egypt and how they haven't seen a lot of tourists after all of the events that, especially in Luxor where they are from, in the south. So they were smoking their shisha, which is like hookah, and they said, how about we show you around? So I said, you know what, it's my birthday, let's do it. So I was wondering how we're gonna get around. Tell me why they pull up in a horse and carriage. Yo, when I say a horse and carriage, bro, a horse and carriage. So I was like, how are we about to get around in a horse and carriage? How you gonna show me? So they said, hop in the back. So they were all for it. So I said, you know what? Let me expand my horizon. Let's go. Let's do it. In Luxor, carriage ride. Out here with my boys Ahmed, Muhammad, riding through Luxor. Now, I wasn't expecting to be riding in the middle of the road. Like, we were riding a horse where the cars are in the middle of the road. Like, look at all these people to the side with the vendors, whatever. Like, the whole street was packed and we're there in a horse and a carriage. I was like, yo, this is a dope experience. They let me ride on the front, ride the horse. Like, it was crazy. So they gave us a real local perspective. We got to see the different markets. We got to see the different people. We got to see all these different things that I typically would have just walked by. And they were young people, super cool. They spoke 4 different languages. And the people that I was with were French Canadians, so they could also speak French. So it was really good to really vibe and connect with them. And I'm happy that I met them. Now, after riding for around 20 to 30 minutes, they pulled up at the side of this road and I'm like, all right, what's about to go down? That's the New Yorker in me. But they said, just wait here. I'm like, nah, I'm not about to get set up. This has been a good birthday, but I'm not about to get set up. I don't trust nothing. So they went inside. So I got out and they opened the door and they said, come on in the house. Yeah, right. You're not about to get me right now. Not in Egypt. But then I saw they brought out their whole family to meet us. Like, they were legitimately excited to have tourists there. And it was their house that they were taking us in. So you know what? I said, let's go in the house. In Luxor, we met 2 friends, Muhammad, Ahmed. They took us to our house, feeding us. And I was legitimately confused because I don't speak any Arabic, any French, or any other languages besides English. But they were super hospitable. They met their family. Their mom was upstairs in the kitchen making us this delicious meal. So look at this. To be honest, I don't even know what it was, but I know it was some chicken, some noodles, and some sauce. This was one of the best meals that I've had. So after that meal, I was on my back because that meal was so good. Like, I thought I just needed to sit down. I don't know what they put in it, but I honestly don't want to know. Because if they tell me something crazy, I'm going to feel bad that I got to eat it again. And then while we were riding through the city on a horse, some local kids came with us with a bunch of sugar canes. Getting sugar cane from the locals. So my family's from Jamaica, and I have very fond memories of sugar cane. So I said, let's get some. Got everybody sugar cane. They cut it for us, and we were just chewing the sugar cane. Now, I'm about 2 hours into meeting these people, and I love them already. I'm starting to let my guard down a little bit because they seem so genuine. And then they said, we have a boat ride prepared for you guys, so let's go. My sugar cane out here, heading on a boat. Man, this is a great birthday I'm having right now. They take us on these dope boat ride on the Nile River. I know y'all heard about the Nile River, but being on the Nile River as an African man empowered myself. And we actually went right to an island called Banana Island. We saw some different fishermen, different boatmen, real beautiful scene. And we took a local boat. We get off this island and there's a ton of banana leaves around. And this, once again, feels like Jamaica to me. We're walking through these banana leaves, picking the bananas off the trees. Like, this is a dope local experience that I really want. But then we get to this point where we see these monkeys and crocodiles in cages. Now, I wasn't too happy about this, but I know that this is like a zoo and it brings tourism to the people, so. Hey. Yo, want my bracelet? Yo! So I wasn't too interested in looking at these monkeys and other animals behind cages. To be honest, Banana Island wasn't anything that I would recommend, but I know that Ahmed and Mohammed were trying to support their friends and their locals, which I understood. So I tipped them and was just happy to go and visit somewhere else. Now, once again, I didn't really have an agenda for anything that I wanted to do. So I kind of just let Ahmed and Mohammed just show us around. So once again, we got back on the horse and the carriage and we're just riding around. Now, this is some fun to be riding the carriage through the city. And we pull up to this amazing structure called Karnak Temple. Sometimes you just got to really think, like, how the hell did somebody actually make this? Like, it's crazy how big these are. Now, this place, Karnak, was like nothing I've ever seen in my life. Literally nothing I've ever seen in my life. And it was cheap, real cheap. For an adult, it was $9, but at the time I was a student and I was able to get in for $4. Now for $4, this actually ended up being the most beautiful place I've ever seen. The fact that people were able to make these structures was mind-boggling in itself. So just check it out. Through this whole time, my mouth was dropped. I couldn't imagine how somebody could build this. The amount of slave labor that was used to build these structures and the detail carved into every single square inch of this place was spectacular. All these hieroglyphics, these bright colors from thousands and thousands of years ago, I could not imagine how it was still standing and how it was so vibrant. And I felt some kind of purpose because these were my people, African people. Karnak Temple was so big. I couldn't imagine that every single piece of it was so crazy. Every time I turned my head, it was something more crazy. I honestly don't even have the words to describe how amazed I was. Get this. Into the sun. Come on, man. Don't get better than this. And then what made it better is I was able to see the sunset right over it. An Egyptian sunset is like no other. I've never seen anything this beautiful in my life. Like, actually this beautiful. There's certain things that you just gotta see for yourself and can't read out of a textbook. Karnak is definitely that. My gosh. I got to some different places in Karnak Temple that really made me sad because a lot of it was vandalized and stolen from. The fact that people would steal these artifacts really didn't surprise me, but it made me sad because they're taking away beauty from these people. The whole time I couldn't imagine that there's this beauty in the world that is man-made. Egyptian people, African people have created such beautiful things. And then seeing the sunset over Karnak Temple, us riding this horse through the city, was just an experience like no other.
2 days sleep and 1 day work. And how about this?
These two random people that called us on the street, Ahmed and Akbar, showed me the best time of my life on my birthday. I couldn't imagine that I had no plans for the day and had a day like this. To be honest, I was so skeptical of the situation, but it ended up being an amazing day like this. Meeting locals and then learning their culture, seeing the different structures and beauty of Egypt. I got to go to their house, eat sugarcane, ride a horse, see the most beautiful structure that I've been to, all on my birthday. I couldn't ask for any more. At the end of the day, Muhammad and Ahmed took us to a market and we saw some things. That's gonna be the next story time, so stay tuned for the next story time. And then they took us back to our hostel. Now, after having such an amazing day, I knew that I had to give them something. Not just for their time, but for all the hospitality that they have given me and welcomed me into their home and showed me around in their beautiful country. Between the three of us, we negotiated a price and gave them some money. I was really grateful for the time that they gave us to show their beautiful country. So once again, guys, thank you for checking out my Storytime Saturday. Stay tuned because I have a lot more stories to tell you guys and I can't wait to share it with you. My perspective on my different stories from around the world. So thank you so much. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with someone that would find it interesting.